we love Rhone wine. You know that, we know that. Not afraid to admit it. Rhone wines are absolutely beautiful wines, some of the greatest wines on planet Earth. We've sold them heavily for 3 decades, and we continue to sell them heavily because they're still friggin' great. Now, one of the cool new producers back in the mid-90s was a producer by the name of Tardieu-Laurent. Tardieu, it's hyphenated, there's a hyphen. Tardieu being Michel Tardieu at the time, and Laurent being Dominique Laurent. Now, these two guys got together, and Dominique Laurent was already what they call a micro-negociant in Burgundy, working with very small parcels of very old vines, the top gear, top everything, aging in his own unique, distinctive barrels that he created himself. And he hooked up with Michel Tardieu, who was kind of like the dude in the Rhone. So like Dominique Laurent knew everybody in Burgundy, but he didn't know anybody in the Rhone, so he called Michel Tardieu and said, hey, let's do this in the Rhone. And Michel Tardieu was like, yeah, that's what's up. Actually, he didn't say it that way. He said it in French, and he wasn't. Anyway, so Tardieu-Laurent was formed in the 90s to do this wonderful Rhone micro-negociant project. It's flourished since that time. They've made fantastic wines continually over this span. And now Dominique Laurent's kind of out of the deal, but Michel Tardieu's son, Bastien, is full on in, and he's basically running everything now. Now, they've had these great relationships on a negoce level for 30 plus years. So let's not think of this as a traditional negociant operation. It's more like a domain where they help them with all the farming, they make the cuts, they make the calls, and they produce these fabulous cuvées, limited cuvées of wine every year from these same parcels. Now, what we're dealing with here is the Tardieu-Laurent Gigondas Vieilles Vignes. Now, Vieilles Vignes is the fancy French term for old vines, really old vines. Like in this case, 60 to 100 plus years old in the commune of Gigondas. Now, they just make, they don't make a lot of this wine, right? Probably under 1,000 cases. They make in the hundreds of cases. And in fact, they source 5 or 6 different micro parcels within Gigondas for this wine, including parcels in Caironne and Dentelle, which these are top flight parcels, right? These are areas within Gigondas that are producing 98, 99, 100 point wines. And they have these fabulous relationships with these growers, and they get all the best gear. This is a ravishing wine. I forget Dunnick's quote, but he was like, if you see a bottle, don't miss it. Like he was like, you need to buy this wine. It's up there with the top wines of the vintage, and trust us, okay? This is no BS. We are Rhone people. We've tasted every great vintage of every great producer in the Rhone Valley since the late 80s. And we can honestly tell you that Tardieu-Laurent's 2020 Gigondas Vieilles Vignes is up there with the top Gigondas wines of the vintage. It is a no-brainer purchase if you're a fan of Gigondas, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Côte du Rhône, what have you. It is ridiculously good wine. Aged in their signature barrels. They have their own signature French barrels that they use from Allier and Tronchet. Older barrels, though. For the Southern Rhone wines, this sees the used wood, the older oak. So the oak influence isn't very strong, and it's only in there for a year. Then after that, they take the wine and they drop it into one big foudre, like the big French barrels, let that marry for a year, and they bottle it, minimal intervention, on finding unfiltered, all that yummy good stuff, minimal sulfur, organic farming when possible. The whole shoot and match is in this bottle. Lavish, lush, velvety style of Gigondas. Just so ingratiating, so yummy, so rich, juicy, friendly, a big bear hug of a Gigondas. I don't know what else to tell you. You definitely need this wine in your life, especially for consuming anytime in the next half dozen years. The Tardieu-Laurent Gigondas Vieilles Vignes 2020 is a slam dunk.